Hello, Flosstube. This is Elizabeth Martinez, phantastitches, with update number 31 for to talk about cross stitching and all things cross stitch and a few other things, life things, I guess. I'm going to try to talk about cross stitch more at the beginning and other things a couple other things at the end to try to get more to the point, I guess. Last time I think I rambled on for a long time about the fair and the MIM and everything else, and before I got to cross stitching. But so okay, I'm gonna try to be a little different this time. Anyway, so the big news is I have a finish. I finished my my design that I was working on for Come Thou Fount of Every Blessing. And so I think I will get to that right away. I started working on this in probably June of this year, either late May or early June. And so now it is October, so I think 4 months later, I finally finished it. And, apart from the alphabet that I got from an alphabet book that I have, everything else was my own design, and in looking back on it, I would probably do things differently. I would probably do this river border differently. The water that this is supposed to represent, I probably would not make these thick lines dividing the verses, but and maybe not be quite so literal in the symbols that are related to the words or whatever. I don't know. But so and maybe make the design a little wider. This is kind of a long and narrow design, and it could stand to be. Maybe if it was wider, I could have done something differently. I don't know. But, it's kind of a learning process. I'm going to cover my face while I do this. But it's kind of a learning process, and if I had it to do, excuse me, there's a cat knocking everything down. If I had it to do over again, I would make some, like I said, some different decisions. But it's finished now. It's completed. Apart from, I probably need to wash it and or at least run a real good lint brush over it to get all the cat hair off of it. I worked primarily on the third verse. Last time I showed it to you, I had the vine and a few of the leaves, and I went ahead and outlined all the leaves. I was going to put like a rib kind of, put some backstitching across the leaves to be like a rib to give it a little more definition, but I felt it was too cluttered looking. And so I just outlined the leaves a little bit, and I put more leaves in than I had originally charted, I guess. And I like that fuller look. Down here, there's a little sheep wandering all around by himself. Prone to wander, Lord, I feel it. Prone to leave the God I love. That's this little sheep is wandering around there. And then there's the last line. And this little heart is a different color, and I like that color better. It's actually this color, and I like it better than the red that I used up here. And up here, oops, excuse me, here. But if I had to do it over again, I would maybe put more icons on this side, because there's nothing on this side. But, the way I charted it, I don't know, I put everything sort of what in typing would be left justified. On everything starting on the left side, and picture icons, whatever you want to call them, symbols, stuff on this side. I don't know. Anyway, and I did the border, like, I think I redid it 2 or 3 times because I had started to do it and I had an idea on it, and I was originally going to put different. I had charted something different along for this underneath the words, and I thought, well, why am I doing that? And I just made it simpler here. But I changed my mind about how I was going to do it. I had started, and then I changed my mind, and I, had gotten about almost halfway through, and, went back and pulled it all out and did it over again. So that what I did was I made this bottom corners here the same as the top corners up here. Yeah, about the same, as the top corners up here. And like I said, this is supposed to be a fountain. That's probably the first thing I thought of, along with this. Teach me some melodious sonnet. And I would probably, if I had to do it over again, make this more easily seen, make it more easy to see. The Ebenezer part, the altar, if you will, and there's my little sheep. I'm actually pretty happy with those sheep. Excuse me, cats. Excuse me, the cats have tried beating each other up. Stop. Behave. Anyway, I like these little sheep. They came out pretty nice. And there's my Jesus, who's a little cartoonish, but, whatever. And again, I would, like I said, I would do this river border differently. And there's the feather, the feathered heart. I still am not real happy with that, but what the heck. And then, like I said, the leaves and the vine and the sheep down there by himself. And the heart and a cross. Anyway, it's done. I'm so happy that it's finished. So, yay. And the borders met up very nicely down here where the sheep is. I had done this side border up to right about where the grass is, where the sheep is. And so I was going to come down this way, but I thought, well, I don't know how. I have to count, and I don't really know how far down this goes and whatever. Or where, anyway, so I thought, well, I was already working on this bottom part, so I was able to sort of to do that, and when I turned the corner and went up, it met very nicely. Anyway, so it's finished. Yay. If I had a bell, I would ring it, but I don't, so there. One more time. I'm going to see if I can pull this in. Yeah. There it is in all of its rumpled cat-haired glory. Yay, it's done. I will probably frame it somehow. The problem I have is that I left very little margin up here. And only the change in ideas left a bigger margin here. But what I'll probably do is I'll cut some of this off of the sides and use that, maybe sew it on top here, and so I can use it to add some margin on the top to frame it. In the stuff that I had framed before, the things that I gave my mother and my father before, I don't think I didn't do any pinning or lacing or anything in those days to frame it. So I don't know what I secured the fabric to the foam core. I used foam core, to mount the fabric piece on. And I don't know how I secured that to the foam core. I might have taped it. I haven't looked at the pieces that I gave my mother and father. I don't know. I don't know how they're secured in the frames now, but it makes me curious. But anyway, so hopefully I will have enough room to do some like pinning or something like that on those. Anyway, the other thing I did in now that design is done, I want to work on some things for Christmas. I don't really do Halloween stitching, so that's not really a consideration. Although I do like the design that Priscilla and Chelsea showed on their video. I think Priscilla is working on it. It's a sort of a big shoe with little mice on top or something. That are mice wearing like aprons and whatever. I think that one's kind of cute, so I might look for that, see what that pattern is, and look for it. But anyway, but ordinarily I don't really do Halloween stitching, so that's not really a consideration. So right now, I'm thinking about Christmas. I don't know that I'll do cross stitch things for everybody, or I might do smaller things for everybody, and then other Christmas gifts or something. I don't know, but I still do want to do some kind of white buffalo design for my brother for his car, because of his car, and some other things. So one thing that I did, and now I can't. What did I do with my phone? Hold on 1 second. Here it is. One thing I did was I downloaded this decision roulette thing. Oh, it's there. You can't really see it. But anyway, this is my new phone. I'm still learning how to get around on it because, I'm not a 13-year-old. 13-year-olds, would have no problem with this. And actually, I'm having to ask my younger sister, how do I do this? How do I do that? And, oh, well, you just, down. I'm not a stupid person, but when it comes to technology, it makes me feel stupid. It's kind of before my time, I guess, but, yeah. And I'm also I'm not really an early adopter. My younger sister is, anything that comes out, she's in on it, she knows how to do it, she can whatever. And I'm sort of a brand loyalist, if I've had a certain brand of something, I'll stick with that. For her, it's like, whatever works best, whatever's cheap, whatever. And so, yeah, so anyway, this phone is different. I had a Samsung phone before, and this one is an LG. And so, yeah, if things are in a different place, things look different, things are different, whatever. And it's new, of course. It's my Samsung phone I bought in 2015. And this one, 5 years later, 3. I can't add also. 3 years later, it... Anyway, So I downloaded the decision roulette thing, and I put my Christmas things in there. This Prairie School with Santa that I've shown last time. Don't do that, please. Stop. My cat is messy with stuff. And then the Lizzie Kate Snow Fun. It's from the Six Fat Men series, but this is the one I'm doing for my older sister. This one is for my younger sister. I started this Prairie School with Santa for my high tea start, but I have not started the snowman thing, but it's on my decision roulette thing now. Along with I don't know if I put this excuse me, Western Biscornu thing on there, this tiny modernist pattern. But I'm gonna try to do this Biscornu. This is not I'm not gonna try to do it in time for Christmas, I don't think. And I don't remember if I put that on the decision roulette wheel or not. But anyway, I recently downloaded that on my birthday. I don't know if I mentioned that last weekend or not. I might have. Anyway, but I did do the Tiny Modernist Santa's house, and they did have released the first room, which is the dining room, which is I think this one down here. I don't have a printout of that with the house, but I want to start it. The instructions for this say that, if you're doing 14 count, it's best to use I think 16 by 19 piece of fabric, because that allows for the 3-inch border on each side. And one thing I did just recently was I did my first attempt at tea dyeing fabric. These are not, this is not modeling, this is wrinkles. But there is a little bit of modeling, just very light, very mild modeling in this fabric, but it's a little bit closer to the color, because all I had was a lot of white, and everything that was about the right size for this pattern was all white or antique white or whatever. And this model is stitched on, I think the colorway is called Ginger. And that got me thinking, or gingerbread. And it got me thinking that, I had a lot of ginger tea. A friend of mine works for the State Department, and before that he taught English Lit overseas. And he's traveled like pretty much almost all over the world, not quite, but when he would have vacation time, he would travel in other countries, like all over India and Cambodia and Vietnam or whatever. So he would send me gifts from here and there. And one thing that he sent me was a bunch of ginger tea, but it's loose leaf. It's very, very fine. A lot finer. I couldn't use it like in a infuser, regular, little those metal balls you get that you can put loose leaf tea in. And I had one infuser that's a mesh, and that might be usable for that. I don't know, but the ginger tea was very strong. But I ended up using it along with some other tea bags for this, dyeing this. And I'm very pleased with the way it came out. But this fabric is a little bit small. It's more like 14 by 16, I want to say. So it would leave, looks like 2-inch margins and 1.5-inch margins. So I might go ahead and use it anyway for the style, or I have one piece of fabric that's 20 by 27, that's also antique white. So if I might try dyeing that as well, and see which one comes out better. But yeah, so I used that tea and dyed this. This is 28 count even weave. So yeah. So I might use that for Santa's house. I started to kit that up, and I'm missing a few of the colors, but I might have those kitted up somewhere else. But I also added to the decision roulette thing the little penguin kit that my nephew gave me for my birthday, which, like I said, I've started but I haven't made any progress on it. I haven't worked on it since then because I was trying to finish my design. Matter of fact, on Come Thou Fount, I was hoping I could finish it last night so that I could make this video in the morning. But I stayed up till like the wee hours, and I just couldn't finish it. So I finished it this morning. But it's done now, so yeah. So now I feel free to do whatever I want. But so that's why I'm using that decision wheel. But also on the decision wheel, I put my piano cat on there, which is here. Let me see. Find the this was the progress I had made on that. I haven't worked on it since May. I didn't do the Whip Mania. I mean Start Mania, Stitch Mania. Golly gosh. I did more like a whip mania. I worked on my whips rather than on my than doing new starts. I continued on. I worked on whips. I had I did like. For the first Stitch Mania, I did 2 days on each of my whips. I did a total of 9 whips. 2 days on each one. So I have Daily Walk in the Woods. That has not been worked on since May. Also, that's also on my. Sorry about that. Also on my decision roulette thing. But also, what I worked on was the needle mungers I've been talking about. And I'm sort of happy, sort of not happy with the results. But I did make some, so, I'll probably use them on various projects. But I have these that are, this one here. These are buttons that I came upon at Joann's a long time ago in the summer. They were, they had for the 4th of July, I guess, a bunch of patriotic things. And they had, get this the right way. And there's U.S. flag. So they had a bunch of things for, that were 4th of July, these little pins. And I took some wire snips or metal snips and cut the pin part out of the back and stuff. And these are just black magnets. They're not the rare earth magnets. So you probably have to, I'll probably have to clean them up a little bit before I use them. Speaking of cleaning up, there's a little glue stuck to the little glue threads on the back. Sorry. And I have one more. And this one has a bigger magnet, but I found that I didn't have enough of them, so and this one says red, white, and blue. Yeah. And then I had these, oh wait, there's one more. There's a little fireworks one. Yeah. And then these, I took the magnets off because they're all sticking to each other, but, oh, sorry. Ooh. I have this little deer head, and this one, these, I came across them at Target. They're just little magnets like you would put on it's a rhinoceros, like on a memo board kind of thing. just have a tiny magnet in the back as a unicorn, and so I just have other magnets stuck on them, but you can't put a needle on the front of this at all, and I don't know, they're a little unwieldy in terms of needle minders. You'd have to stick the magnet, the needle on the back of the on the magnet in the back, but it's a little bit safer anyway. But you could still use them. There's a rhinoceros, like I said, and an elephant, my favorite. This is the reason I bought the set, because there was an elephant there. And then this little stag, and the stag's kind of heavy because of the, oh, here he goes again, because of the antlers. He's down on the floor. But, so I don't know that I'll use that one, I don't know. I might just stick them on I have a metal board thing. But anyway, so that's about it as far as my cat. As far as the what I'm going to be working on now that I'm done with my Come Down Fount design. Excuse me. Stop it, please. My cat acting up. Anyway, so like I said, hopefully, with I've got these projects on my decision roulette wheel, and I did spin it, and it came up with Santa's house thing. So I'm, I need to go through and look at that and see where to start, because usually I start in the center of a project, but since this cell is has these separate rooms and everything, I have the outside in one room. I don't think I can exactly start in the center, so I have to do a lot of careful measuring to make sure that I'm starting in the right place. And also, the other thing I wanted to talk about was my printer saga. My printer isn't working well now. I got my computer working, my printer's not working. And it won't print in black anything in black and white, or black, it'll print color stuff, but it won't print anything black. So when I went to print the Tiny Modernist pages, what it did was, I was very happy with. It printed any of the lettering and stuff. It printed like in purple or blue or something, rather than leaving it blank, for the black. But where in the pattern, I am not sure that it printed well. I haven't looked at. I have the thing downloaded on my tablet, as well as on my big computer, so I can go in and check the chart image, in there, and maybe make some notes on the chart that I have on paper, where things might have been left out. But I was surprised that I was able to print off as much as I did. But like I said, I'm not sure that it printed everything well. So so my sister and I went driving around a couple places, because I sort of, I thought about that. I didn't want to have to buy a new printer, but new printers cost about the same, or maybe even less, than an ink cartridge nowadays. So so I had seen, I had priced a couple printers at Walmart, just because I was there for something else, and so I happened to look at what the printers, how much they ran, whatever. But I thought, well, I'll go look at Best Buy, because they have a little bit more variety, perhaps, and maybe I can find something of comparable price. See what they have there. So my sister and I went to Best Buy, and they really didn't have anything in that price range. Everything was like Excuse me, my cat is acting up. So we thought, well, okay, we'll go look at Sam's. Because Sam's, oh, excuse me, there's a cat. Oh. But anyway, so we went up to Sam's. After Best Buy didn't have what we wanted, we went to Sam's. And at Sam's, they really didn't have much to choose from there either. And so we went to a different Walmart. There was one that was, up there. And the guy there, I don't know if he was, if he was some, handicapped in some way, or if he was just stupid. I don't know. But, my sister went to ask him, where the printers were. And he said, he kind of said, yes, we have printers. But he didn't say, oh, they're right there, He just said, he just said yes. And so she asked him, where are the printers? And finally he sort of pointed us. I don't know if she asked him 2 or 3 times, but finally he pointed us, in the right direction. But, excuse me, there was a cat attacking my foot because there's a needle minder on the floor. I mean, a magnet down the floor. Excuse me. Cat, stop. Excuse me, just a second. Okay. So, anyway, and then we were sort of looking at the variety of the few printers they had there, and there was one that we were interested in, but we couldn't find the box. They had the display version of it, but we couldn't find a box to match that particular model. And so we asked the guy, do you have this model? And he was like, he's like, is that the one you want? Like, do you don't seem to have this one, in a box. And he started looking at, at the other printers or whatever, and it was like, he was just not very helpful at all, and didn't seem to know what he was talking about or whatever. So, no. But anyway, so I'm probably going to just look online and order what I want online, even if, I will probably get it from Walmart or whatever, but it's easier to just, go online and say, this is the one I want, and whatever, But I was kind of hoping, to come home with one today, but I'll probably have to just, do it online. Hush, kitten. Shh, snug. Sorry. Anyway, so yeah, I'm still without a good printer, and, but, excuse me. Sorry, my cat is, attacking everything. Sorry. Stop. Stop. That is not for cats. That is not for cats. Stop. Snug. Sorry, just a second. Okay. Anyway, so I think that's pretty much everything. One thing I meant to talk about that I just last week, because I did it for my birthday, was I downloaded a new novel by one of my favorite authors, a Norwegian writer named Jo Nesbø, Jonesbo, Jo Nesbø. I don't know. He writes mostly police procedurals, although he has written children's books also. But I've read probably all or almost all of the novels that he's written that have to with they're sort of suspense thriller, police things, whatever. I don't know. Some of them are not police thrillers, I guess, so much, but he has a series of books set in Oslo, and then some others that are in other parts of Norway, I guess, or something. Anyway, it's really good. But the book I downloaded is called Midnight Sun, I think it is called. And I read a little bit, just the beginning of it, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna, you know, save it for when I have time to savor it. Um, the problem is that his books, are late coming to the United States because they have to be translated into English and then published here. So there's always a bit of a lag time from when he releases a novel to when it's available in the U.S. Um, but he's the one who wrote The Snowman was popular several years ago, I guess. It was in Newsweek. I back when I used to have a subscription to Newsweek, and it was on Good Morning America, I think, when it was first came out, translated into English. But he also wrote uh, other books in this same series of Harry Holle, and the police department in Oslo, Norway. But anyway, this Midnight Sun, I think, follows a different detective, and I haven't started reading that yet, so, but I'm looking forward to that. Anyway, so I think that's it. So thank you again to my returning viewers, my returning subscribing viewers, and welcome to any new viewers um, who are finding this channel for the first time. And again, my name is Elizabeth Martinez, phantastitches, and I hope to see you again next time. Oh, today is Saturday, October 19th, 19th or 20th. I don't know. Anyway, today's Saturday. uh, yeah, the 20th, I guess. Anyway, so I'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.